What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another episode of a 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Palworld. Could go beyond AAA games, but Pocketpair CEO wants to pursue projects that are interesting as indie games. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Disney explains why it invested $1.5 billion into Fortnite and what it hopes to achieve. We're going to watch Warhammer, IGN's Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2's final preview, and then we'll have a little discussion about that as well. And then if we get through all that, I want to watch the Asmongold reaction to the thing that we covered yesterday. But I like some of the stuff that he says and talks about, because if you compare us two, right? Obviously, he's like 10 or 12 years younger than I am, and he's embedded in the gaming world because of his companies and what he is and his persona online. And yet I'm just a regular schmo on the internet, and I say things all the time. And I'm not comparing, like, because he said it, I'm right. It's just that I'm connected and I know what's going on in the companies and industries, and how, because of my past of working in the film industry, working in the entertainment field, and how companies work and whatnot. And he talks about how they basically, not basically, they are bribes, right? There are these things that are happening and it needs to stop, right? Yesterday, I talked about how journalists can't go to lunch with somebody and have them pay for their meal. Can't do it, okay? Journalists are not allowed to have drinks with someone and someone pays for their drinks. These are all things that could be shown as some sort of bribe or taken because of what the article they're writing or whatnot, right? So we'll cover that as well. All right, how's everyone doing? What's going on, Kylo? What's going on, Travis? What's going on, Water Bear? Argus, good morning. Water Bear says, 30. What's funny is that I just watched the Asmongold reaction to Ubisoft bribing scandal before you posted it. I agree. It needs to stop. And they knew what they were doing. This happens all the time, though, Water. This happens all the time. And content creators think that because they're getting it up, because they get the, to get to play the games and whatnot, but they shouldn't be taking anything from anybody, okay? It doesn't matter if it's a paid advertisement. It doesn't matter if it's just a sponsored thing, right? They have to disclose it. And if you take something from that company, you have to disclose it. And if you disclose it, I personally, okay, I'm only speaking for myself, can't listen to you because you are now not you're biased because you took something. Even as much as they tell you it doesn't skew my view on this and stuff, it 1000% does. Okay. If you give me $400, if you give me $1, if you give me $1,000 in cash or in paid trip / airfare, there's no difference. There's no difference. Companies are almost never accidentally malicious. That's right, Argus. That's right. Waterbear also says, even my company I'm not blinded by the fact as long as you speak in good light of them, you get special treatment. Sure. Carlos says, how's that Marvel game? Looks like it was a turn-based game. Yeah, it's a turn-based game, and let me tell you, last night I've enjoyed it. I have about 12 hours. We played for 5.5 hours last night on stream. 5.5 hours. I didn't go to bed till almost 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay, I'm really enjoying it. There's parts of the game I don't like. There's parts of the games I don't like, but the combat, the card system, everything. Last night there was a moment that was it for me. It hooked me. And now I'm like, dude, this is so good. I played last night, and we did the mission where you're on top of the Avenger Tower, and you're trying to save Bruce Banner. Okay? And when I was playing, I lost 2 of my characters, and I only had Iron Man left. Okay? And Iron Man pulled through and killed everybody, and then I was like, all right, I beat it. And then round 2 started. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, how am I going to do this? I thought I was dead. I thought for sure that I was done for. And then I pulled it through. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I was like, this is amazing. I loved it. I had so much fun. That one mission last night when Iron Man had like this much health left, and I pulled through and then beat Venom. Or, was it Venom? Yeah, it was, no, it was Crossbone. Crossbone on top of the Avenger Tower. I was like, dude, this is great. The combat is so much fun. The card system is actually really good inside this game. Argus says, shit, even if there is no bribe and the company just does something they aren't supposed to do, their fines are small, and they can literally account for it as the budget of the product and the companies. Right. Jason says it's wrong. On all fronts, Ubisoft just got caught. Oh, yeah, no. Companies do this all the time, Jason. Companies do this all the time. It's not just Ubisoft. It's not just Ubisoft. It's all the companies. Jax asks, 30, could they do anything to the Star Wars franchise that you would walk away? I mean, you talk about the video game for Star Wars, just the franchise in general, or are you talking about the movies? I'll never walk away from, like, episodes 1 through 6, right? Like, all the stuff that I like about Star Wars, I can still go back and watch the Clone Wars and stuff. I've watched some of the Bad Batch. I think the Bad Batch cartoons and stuff like that, or the animated show is fantastic. Video games so far, I've loved all the video games. I don't agree with some of the monetization things like what they did for Battlefront 2, but what they did to Boba Fett, what they did to Obi-Wan in the TV shows, what they did, like what they're doing right now, yeah, I don't partake in that stuff. The games, I like the games like Jedi Survivor, Fallen Order, Battlefront 2, back in the day, Bounty Hunter, what's it called? Republic Commando, Jedi Academy, Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars Galaxies. I loved all the Star Wars games leading up. TIE Fighter, I loved them all. I don't hate Star Wars Outlaws. I hate that the way Star Wars Outlaws is being marketed and the what the game is, right? Like the way they're marketing it and the way they've structured it. Okay. Now again, we haven't played it. We are going to play it for the $18 for that 1 month that I will pay for Ubisoft Plus to check out the game. But I can't say I hate the game in any way, shape, or form because I want to see what it is, and then I'll give you my honest opinion on it. Waterbear says, so Midnight Suns could have probably sold a lot better without the between CW stuff, and they make you progress in the story long. The combat action seems cool. I don't think that's the reason it didn't sell well, Water. I'll be honest. I said it yesterday. I don't know if you were here when I said it. I don't believe that Midnight Suns sold poorly because of the CW/card stuff. I think it was everything and the timing that it came out with the cards, with the drama stuff, but the temperature of the room of MCU just in general, right? Just came out in the wrong time. Wow, Dende. It's like my job. I didn't hate my job. I hated the management. Right. It's not that I hate. It's not. I don't hate Outlaws in any way, shape, or form. And until I play it and then tell you, oh, this is bad. This is good. This is this. I have nothing against the game itself. Again, we've talked about this multiple times. I have nothing against Cyberpunk 2077. I have everything against CD Projekt Red for releasing Cyberpunk 2077 the way they did. Right. Again, I have nothing against Battlefield. I hate that EA released Battlefield in the way it did. Okay. Lots of different things like that. It's not the project. I enjoy the game. I don't like what they've done with the way they manage the game and the way they did with the company. Jason says it didn't sell because people wanted an XCOM style over the card battle system, and this is why I never bought it. I agree with you from the outside, Jason. I am the same way. I was like, I don't know about that card system. But when it came out, Baitwalker, one of the people that follows me, and we've been friends for a couple years, he showed it to me in Discord and explained it to me, and I was like, oh, that's actually really cool. There's a lot of depth to this game, and it's a shame it didn't get acknowledged and whatnot. But at the same time, it's a good game. It really is. It really is a good game. And I understand people wanted an XCOM game, and they didn't want this card game, just like people didn't want said game because that's not the game they asked for. But this game itself is actually a really good game. Is it perfect? No, there's a couple things in there I don't like, but overall, it's a really good game. There's a lot of layers to this game. Oh, you like that? You want that picture up there again, where you're looking? Travis says, 30, between Midnight Suns and Space Marines 2, I think it might be safe to say I have the same taste in game. Dude, Wolverine is so bloody good in this game. Dude, when I played Wolverine yesterday, I fell in love. And then when we got to play Captain America, I was like, all right, good stuff. Good stuff. Waterbear says, so you're going to be blown away when you finally play Baldur's Gate 3, huh? I'm probably going to be the same way. Here's the thing, Water. Remember, I always say this, right? There's games that I'm interested in. Like, I like Baldur's Gate 3, but it just didn't hook me. But if you give me something that of an IP that I like with that same type of style, all of a sudden I like it much better, right? I always say Destiny as Avengers or as Marvel would be better for me. Destiny as Transformers would be better for me. Destiny as Star Wars would be better for me, right, than the game itself. And Baldur's Gate 3, I enjoyed. I played 11 and a half hours. I enjoyed it, but it didn't hook me. Marvel, Midnight Sun, which is a lesser game than Baldur's Gate 3, but I like better because of the Marvel IP. Right? I want to go back and play Baldur's Gate 3. Like, this definitely wants me to go back and now give Baldur's Gate 3 more of a shot. Or not even a shot, just more time towards it. Because I gave it a shot. I gave it 11 and a half hours. I really enjoyed my 11 and a half hours in it. Zero says, hoping the new Captain America game is going to be good. I think it's going to be good, but I think it's going to be... I think it's going to be short. I think it's going to be short because it's going to be more of a, and this is not a bad thing. It's going to be like a God of War. It's going to be like a Tomb Raider. And what I mean by that is that the very action-packed, very adventure, like go do things and stuff like that. But it's going to be a short campaign just because of the style that what it is. I think the Hydra, 1943 Rise of Hydra, Captain America, Black Panther game is more of a push the envelope of the tech than it is more of the game itself, is what we've seen so far. It's the push of the Unreal Engine 5 and what they can do with it, but it's not going to be a really thick, like meaty game. It's going to be more of a lesser of a game. Again, not to take away from the game, it's just going to be a short game. Sort of like Hellblade 2, right? Hellblade 2 visually looks phenomenal, right? But it's a short game. It's a small game. I think that's what Hydra's going to be. Yeah, linear, yes, but what I'm saying is it's just going to be a very... it's just going to be a short game. It's not going to have a lot of meat to it. There's not going to be a lot of layers to it. It's going to be pretty straightforward. Move character here, get content, get cutscenes, right? Go do this mission, get cutscene, and it's just going to be very, very, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's just going to be different than what people want. I don't think it's going to be like this open world. I don't think it's going to be like God of War where it has moments of open world, or like a Gears of War where it has moments of open world. I think it is going to be very linear. Arbiter says, shit, from what I've seen from Warframe, Space Marines 2 is pushing the tech too. You seen the recommended and required specs? Yeah, I did. We're gonna watch that. You know what? Let's start off with Warhammer. Let's start off with Warhammer. We got an 8.5 minute video from IGN this morning. Yeah, we have a story that we're going to get to a little bit later about it. WB is also executing off the gaming branch of Xbox is trying to buy it. Yeah, and that 10 cent. I'll tell you what, if I had to have 10 cent or Xbox buy it, I don't want either one to buy it. But if I had to, as we say in the American politics, well, you gotta pick one, the lesser of two evils. I would pick my Xbox. I'd pick Microsoft, right? Which would be huge. Which would be huge. Another huge pickup for them for the games they want to put on Game Pass. Those IPs they would get. Eclipse says it's going to be a movie game. That's what we call it, PlayStation Special, right? It's going to be less Spider-Man 2 and more BioShock. Yes, it's a weird example, Travis, but you're not wrong. It's weird because it's a comic book, and you're comparing it to comic book, but then you're comparing it to a non-comic book game. I think you're right. It's going to be more like a BioShock than it is like a Spider-Man 2. What's going on, Mo? You know what the funny part is? I have to go find it. But on a Generation X Gaming, I forget when it was. I tried to look it up last night when people were talking about yesterday afternoon about how WB might be selling to Xbox, and it was like rumored and whatnot. Still rumored. But I said on Generation X Gaming, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago, I said that WB would get picked up by Microsoft. I got to find it. I remember saying it. We were talking about Ubisoft and Square Enix. Talking about Take-Two. We were talking about Warner Brothers. And I remember specifically saying that Xbox will buy Warner Brothers. And I can't remember if it was during like Gotham Knights time when it came out, or if it was before Hogwarts Legacy came out, but I remember saying it on Generation X Gaming Podcast. Who are we talking about? Bringing it over to the right side of the history and Game Pass. WB is trying to sell off their gaming division, supposedly. Jack says, you might be as an insider at this point. I would never be considered an insider because I don't talk to anybody. Literally, Jax, everything that I say, and if you want to say predict or whatnot, is not just me randomly talking about stuff. It's me reading the room. It's me reading articles over and over, hundreds, thousands of articles, connecting the dots, reading between the lines, and seeing what the future holds. Ron says Xbox can buy everything and Nintendo just smiles. Yeah, well, Xbox is looking, or I should say Microsoft is looking to dominate, where Nintendo's happy with the niche that they have. That's the difference. And when I say dominate, it's not dominate like the Xbox. Microsoft is trying to dominate just in everything, every avenue. If it's computers, if it's gaming, if it's cloud, whatever. They're just trying to get as much stuff as possible. It's not an Xbox thing. It's a Microsoft thing. Here, let me pull that off for a second. Travis says, I'm sorry, Xbox isn't winning. Microsoft is winning. It was solely on the gaming division. That's what I'm saying, Travis, right? It's not Xbox. It's Microsoft. Microsoft is trying to dominate. Hence why Phil Spencer, when he came out as Xbox head, said, we're not worried about PlayStation and Nintendo. We're worried about Google. I think he said Google and Apple is what he said, or Amazon and Google, one of the two. Or two of the three. Jason says, I'm a PlayStation guy, and Sony has been bad this gen. Overall, this is why I'm switching to PC when this gen is done. I think, to be fair, I think both consoles this generation, this has been a lackluster generation of games. But I think that has a lot to do with the starting point of where the generation started with the whole pandemic, right? I think it has a lot to do with that. And also it's like a butterfly molting or like a snake molting, right? Like shedding its skin. The gaming industry is shedding its skin from what it was to what it's going to be. And we're in that transition stage, right? We're in that transition stage of what the consoles were to what we're doing now. We're in this like mid-ground of, do we want consoles? Do we want handhelds? Are we going cloud? What are we doing? We're in this weird generation right now. Zero says Microsoft is spreading to gaming and literally shut down studios for no reason, like High Five Rush Studio. All studios do this. You're speaking of it like it's Microsoft's the only one doing it. Embracer Group has done it. Sony has closed studios. Nintendo's closed studios. Microsoft has closed studios. We don't know the back workings of what happens behind the scenes. Just know that corporate, when they buy companies or they will close down studios. Everyone does it. It's not just a Microsoft thing. Saying it like that, though, Zero, is that you're picking a side, and there is no side. It's corporate versus money. That's it. And when they need to make more money, they have to get rid of certain things. It doesn't matter if it's Microsoft. Doesn't matter if it's Sony. Doesn't matter if it's Xbox. Doesn't matter if it's Nintendo. Doesn't matter if it's IBM. Doesn't matter if it's Intel, Activision, whatever it is. They're going to fire people and close studios down. It has nothing to do with just Microsoft. Why can't Microsoft use money for making games? They do, but they also use it for cloud and government work and POS systems and everything else, right? Microsoft is a giant company. Xbox is the people, and there's a division of the company, and they all have their little pool of money they can pull from that they're allowed, their allowance. Sarge says, too much to say. See you Thursday. Xbox isn't concerned with consoles. They've been over this, guys. Come on. They care about getting digital games to the most consumers any way possible. Here's a conversation that I didn't even want to bring up today, right? People are talking about how obviously we don't own their games anymore and whatnot, and how that thing's going around where you sign for petition to save games that are being shut down, like The Crew, like a couple months ago when we covered it. Okay. The reason that Ubisoft wants you to get the Ubisoft Plus, or PlayStation wants to get you PlayStation Plus, or Xbox wants you to get on Game Pass is that because if you don't own the game, okay, even if you do own the game, it's a small percentage, so it doesn't really affect those people, right? Very few people, I should say. They want you to rent the game. They want you to play the game on Game Pass. They want you to play it on these streaming services, because if and when they do shut the servers down, you can't fight it saying, well, I own the game, so I should be able to play that game afterwards. Because when you rent the game, when they remove it, like right now, when movies come off of Netflix, or movies come off of Disney Plus, or movies come off of whatever thing you're watching, or games come off Game Pass, no one's really complaining. They're just like, oh, it's coming off Game Pass. Oh, it's leaving PlayStation Plus, right? No one cares because they didn't purchase that game. So just like, oh, it's like a rotating door. So you feel better about yourself because they didn't You didn't purchase it, so you don't feel like you're really losing it, right? Unlike when you own the game and then you can't play the game, like The Crew or any other game, and you're like, well, I can't play that game anymore. Battleborn, right? Then you have a problem where you own the game, but yet you can't play the game. Zero says, you should look at the Pirate Software video, 30. He's a game dev, and he explains why that's okay to do. Why it's okay to use the game after it closes down. I mean, I believe they can. I mean, Star Wars Galaxies right now is still open. Sony abandoned it. People made a server and put the game on there. I think if a game company abandons the game, they should open it up. Now, obviously, I don't believe they should get their source code because they could use that source code for other things, right? But they should 100%, if they're not going to make money off of it anymore, then open it up to the people that want to play it. It's not going to be millions and millions of people. It's going to be hundreds of thousands of people, right? It's too small for them to invest in, but at the same time, they don't want it to, right? Preservation should be, it's still art. We should be able to still go back and play it. Waterbear says, keep you in their ecosystem. That's the goal for Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, Apple, Samsung, etc. Yep. That's why you can't buy games on Apple, right? On the mobile phones, you have to get their streaming service. You have to get Arcade, Apple Arcade. Why make consoles if you don't care about consoles? It sounds like a goalpost movement to me. No. They give example as we did yesterday. If I make a burger joint, instead of rechanging everything and just dropping meat and saying we're going into vegan burgers, right? You open it up where you bring in vegan burgers on top of still serving meat, right? The people that want meat buy meat. The people that want vegan burgers are buying vegan burgers, right? That's it. You have more options for people. So the console, okay, them not making consoles or caring about consoles, they're still making consoles because they know people out there like you and me still want to buy a console, so people will still buy consoles. But for the rest of the people, if you don't want to buy a console, then you don't have to buy a console. It's just more options for people. It's not moving the goalpost, at least not from Microsoft's standpoint. Mo says, so since hardware sales are down for Sony, is it time for them to shut down as well? Are we also questioning why they're making consoles for us? It's all right now? Yeah, they're always going to make consoles. I've said this multiple times on my stream. The record player still exists. A tape deck still exists. You can still listen to tapes. You can still listen to CDs. You can still listen to records. DMX says, I think Microsoft should merge their Xbox and PC together to make an affordable gaming PC. This is way they can go full digital and make PCs more accessible. I see them, we talked about this in the past, DMX. We had someone come in our stream way back when I lived in my apartment. Someone came in, it was like 2015, 2016. Someone said, down the road, Xbox next console will be a PC where you could remove like the hard drive, you could remove the graphics card. And that was like, 9-10 years ago. And I was like, yeah, I could see that happening. Right? And I think Jeff Grubb, Windows Central, or Jez Gordon, not Jeff Grubb. Jez Gordon wrote an article about why the next consoles should have or come with keyboards, right? Should be like a PC type of thing. But at the same time, I don't think Microsoft cares about that, right? They didn't care about making PCs before. That's why they're called Microsoft. They just made software. And now they're just doing it again with the video game market. Sarge says, Ron, they don't want consoles because if they lose money on each one, if they can sell you digital service, sell full-price games, sell microtransactions in each game, you make more money. Correct. Helldivers 2 is still remains the top-selling game of 2024. Well, that's false. They only sold 12 million copies. Palworld has sold 22 million, 23 million copies. So that's false, Ron. Dolphin says, this is bullshit. They only put out 2 games this year. They only put out 2 games this year? They put out more than 2 games this year, didn't they? 2 AAA games, maybe. Palworld is still a beta game. Still sold more copies than anything else. You know where I stand. You know where I stand. Doesn't matter if it's Alpha, Beta, Charlie, Delta, Zeta. Okay? It sold a game. It sold a game. Chris says, Palworld in early access, so it didn't count sales until the release year. Baldur's Gate 3 sales got counted after official release. Look, if you want to take whatever lap you guys want to take, right? The game is out. Did you purchase it? Did you spend money on Palworld? Did you spend money on it? I don't care what the official thing said. 23 million people bought Palworld. That's more copies sold. If it's official, if it's from Jeff Keighley, if it's from the organization of video games up your ass, I don't care. They sold more copies than Helldivers 2. Just saying. Zero says, I'm going to just support indie games. Triple titles are too money hungry, and sometimes they look like they just want your money. Just remember that all games want your money, but you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. AAA games want all of your money. Small independent games want your money because they gave you a product. AAA games want your money because they want all of your money out of your wallet. Give me 1 second. My son needs help with something. Give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that. Who's moving goalposts, Mo? Who's moving the goalpost? Me? Argus says, Palworld is completely out in all ways besides legal labeling, which is the only for legal liability and purposes of benefits that also come with being early access. Right, Argus. It's sold more copies in early access than many games sell in their full life cycle. We can't count it yet. We can't count it yet, Argus. We can't count it because the official stat keeper didn't exist into the label. So right now, Palworld actually doesn't exist. It didn't sell anything. Travis says Pokemon worth money. Palworld isn't well known fact. What do you mean? Pokemon worth money. Palworld isn't well known fact. Isn't well known fact. There's a bunch of punctuations and things missing there, Travis. What are you trying to say? Argus says Palworld isn't just Pokemon at home. The Pokemon that lets you do all this shit in Pokemon you wish you could do, and basically no restrictions, which is something Pokemon fans have wanted for so long. Braun says Fortnite technically hasn't officially released yet. No, that's not true. It went out of early access in what, 2020? I think it was 2020. Oh, here we go. Travis said Palworld isn't worth anything. It's a game that should have been free to play. It's the Concord of Pokemon. Oh my god. Did you wake up on the wrong side of bed this morning, Travis? With that garbage. I played it. I played it not only on Xbox for free or Game Pass. No, it was free, right? It was on Game Pass. But then I bought it on PC. Shh, Zero. Don't you can't say that because see, the game is shit because it's not on a certain platform. But then when it comes to that platform, then they'll start counting sales, and then they'll start saying it's a good game. Sarge says, but in terms of gaming, Palworld succeeded means that Nintendo now knows they need to do better. Or they lose market share for Pokemon. It should improve the game. Palworld isn't eligible for Game of the Year. Does that matter? It's official release. Early access can be years from now. So, well, technically, there's been many games been nominated for stuff in the Game of the Year. Now, it might not be Game of the Year. Now, it might not even get Game of the Year anyway. But does that really fucking matter when they sold 23 million copies? There's literally an article saying that the company made so much money they don't know what to do with it, and they're afraid to have that much money. Is, what, like 4 months ago when we read that article? Does it really matter if a game can't get nominated at Keighley's Game Fest or at BAFTA? It sold 23 million copies. 23 million copies. You guys are delusional. Who gives a shit if it can be Game of the Year or not? It sold, physically, factually, 23 million copies. Argus says, yeah, you do know almost every survival game in existence launches in and stays in early access for the most of its life, right? 29 Exiles, Ark of Survival Evolved, Ground Last Oasis, Rust, tons of them. Yeah. It's crazy that you guys are like, yeah, doesn't make sense. It doesn't exist. It didn't sell 23 million copies. To who? We actually have a Palworld story, but we're gonna watch Warhammer 40K IGN video first. If you like what I do here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you become a member as little as $5. Let's check out this IGN video. Again, it's not a review, it's a preview, because we don't give a shit about IGN's reviews.
Spread so far and wide from its humble tabletop origins that I would almost consider the fantasy of being one of the Adeptus Astartes, a space marine, as being on par with being Batman or a Jedi Knight at this point.
Eviscerate this abomination!
And Space Marine 2 brings me closer to that fantasy than maybe any previous game has. At its best, it's practically 40k Nirvana, mowing down disorienting numbers of Tyranids with a heavy bolter or cutting a path through them with a chainsword.
I have a question again. I am at 1080p 60, and yet this footage looks again like garbage. Why is IGN, or do they have a guy that's uploading it wrong on their servers? Like, what's happening over in IGN?
At times, the controls can get a little clunky, especially on a controller, but I suppose some of that comes with being an 8-foot-tall juggernaut coated in ceramite. I had access to the first little bit of the campaign, which has Clive Standen, aka Rollo from Vikings, giving an inspired, gravelly performance as Captain Titus from the first game.
We will eradicate your kind from the galaxy.
Who is immediately embroiled in some interesting drama with his new squad mates due to his checkered service record. They ultimately set that aside, though, to do battle with the Tyranid hive fleet threatening the soaring Gothic spires of the Imperial world of Avarax.
The Astropath relay is 4 miles from here. Expect heavy Tyranid presence.
What's immediately striking is how detailed and well animated everything on the ground is. From the humble Cadians, who will often kneel and talk in a whisper as the Emperor's angels approach, to the smallest gilded details on the architecture. I don't think I've ever had the feeling of standing on the ground in the Warhammer 40k universe to this level of satisfaction before.
Your punishment is dishonorable death.
The graphics are gorgeous, the chaos.
We can't tell if the graphics are gorgeous. Your upload quality is absolutely horrendous.
Chaotic soundscape is spot on. And no expense has been spared, filling every square inch with the kinds of small touches that delighted me as a longtime fan of this franchise. As far as nailing the experience of playing as one of the Emperor's finest, Space Marine 2 generally does a respectable job there as well. Titus and his buddy's Primaris armor is rendered in gleaming fidelity with lots of moving parts, managing to feel imposing and maneuverable at the same time.
Heresy and corruption. The Tyranids seek to consume that as well.
Anytime I got to remove an obstacle through pure super strength was a highlight.
This is adequate.
And most of the guns feel great to use, from the classic bolter to a plasma gun that makes enemy armor seem like a joke. I wasn't totally sold on the
Very, very Gears of War-ish.
melee stuff, unfortunately. Carving through gaunts with a chainsword is just as exhilarating as it should be, but Space Marine 2 has also tried to implement a Sekiro-esque system of telegraphed dodges and parries to counter enemy special attacks, and I'm not quite sure if it works here. Maybe 6 hours just wasn't long enough to get the feel for it yet, but I got the sense that it really slowed close combat down with canned animations, breaking up the flow a bit too much. Likewise with the Doom 2016 style finishers, though they are gloriously brutal in their spectacle. You really can't argue with how awe-inspiring it is to see a Space Marine rip a Tyranid warrior's head clean off and discard it like trash. Maybe they're just a bit too long, or they mess with the camera too much, but they feel like breaks in the action rather than part of it.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff, it definitely feels like Gears of War. Even when he uses the sword instead of the, you know, the gun with the chainsaw on it, he's got the sword. It all looks very similar, which is not a bad thing, by the way. Which is not a bad thing.
The main enemies in the missions I played were primarily Tyranids, though it seems like the forces of chaos are definitely up to something behind the scenes, as they often are. And the variety of chitinous baddies is pretty impressive, from hordes of regular gaunts who mainly serve to show off your godlike power, to slippery lictors who require a bit more finesse to take down. These guys, likewise, have never looked better in a video game, with some of the more complex model updates from the recent tabletop refresh of the faction shown off in all their creepy splendor.
What makes this game is going to be awesome is that it's co-op. Three people can play at the same time. That's going to be fun.
The mode I spent the most time with, though, is the new 3-player co-op, which seems to be where the meat of Space Marine 2 lies. There are tons of perks and weapon upgrades to unlock, and much to my delight, as someone who rolls their eyes at playing boring Ultramarines, character customization includes the ability to unlock armor colors and liveries from dozens of chapters, including both my beloved Space Wolves and some fairly...
Did they say there's microtransactions in this game, like, leading up to this? Did they say there's microtransactions, or is everything unlockable in the game?
Obscure ones. On top of this, you have 6 different classes to choose from, each of which has at least 3 primary weapons to level up, allowing for a huge amount of build diversity. I probably had the most fun with...
That right there sold me. This whole thing right here, this little one-on-one thing here. This right here. Sold. That's it. That's all you need. That's all you need.
I probably had the most fun with the standard tactical marine. I know. Right after I said Ultramarines are boring. The Assault Marine can be exciting too, but as I never fully got comfortable...
No, I'm not talking about microtransactions. DLC is not microtransactions to me. DLC is content. Downloadable content. Content is different than skins for $10.
With the melee combat, and I also found the jump pack to be really kind of fiddly and inconsistent. It ended up being the build I wish I was good at, but never quite got there. The Heavy Marine is also great fun when you can fire hose away with a heavy bolter and watch an entire swarm evaporate, but they don't have much to do when they're out of ammo, which isn't as big a problem for the other classes. I feel like some levels could use a bit of rebalancing in terms of ammo drops, at least if you have a heavy on the squad. It can be a long time between resupplies.
Very Gears of War-ish.
Since I was playing on a pre-release build, I was often paired with bots, and they're not really very good, even on the lowest difficulty. The aforementioned Heavy Marine just isn't that viable because...
Well, here's a good thing. At least when you have bots, they're actually still attacking the bots. Because I hate games. Suicide Squad's one of them. Okay? You have 3 other bot characters with you, but for some reason, every NPC is aiming for you, which is just so infuriating. Okay? So at least that they're attacking other bots as well.
Because you can't count on your AI teammates to keep strong melee enemies off of you. But when I did match with other humans, I was having a great time. So I imagine this issue will be resolved when the servers are open to everyone. The more linear levels and somewhat clunkier movement is definitely an adjustment when I've played hundreds of hours of Helldivers 2 already this year. But there's no mistaking that I could definitely see myself spending an obsessive amount of time unlocking all the cool visual and mechanical kit for my favorite chapters and classes.
Dolphin says if you squint, this is literally Gears of War 6. Let me see. Oh yeah, I see it. I see it.
Space Marine 2 has a real shot at being the quintessential third-person action game set in the 40k universe. It's exactly what it says on the cargo canister. You get to be an enormous, super strong, nearly invincible battering ram of post-human destruction, slinging retribution at uncountable hordes of Xenos across beautiful, detailed battle spaces that bring this universe to life in a way it never really has been before, ideally with a couple friends. You'll be able to check it out for yourself on September 9th. For more Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2,
So we're just like, we're like a month away. We're like a month away. Gameplay overview. When was this? When was this game? Oh, it was 1 month ago. All right. Yeah, so the game looks good. I don't know what's going on with IGN at their quality of footage that they show. It looks blurry. For Emperor Palworld. Oh, wait, it's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. I'm definitely still not pre-ordering it. Still not pre-ordering it. I don't pre-order games. But that's definitely that's piqued my interest. It's piqued my interest. It definitely looks like a fun game. Again, you take a game like a Gears of War, we'll put an IP that you're interested in, and voila, you got something good, right? They don't have to come up with something completely new. They could take something that worked in the past and then put an IP on it that people love, and there you go. El Dente says, I'm a month away from getting the armor in IRL for role-playing it. I want you to take that armor, and I want you to do the exact same picture, but with the armor on. Okay? Oh, man. All right. Try to see if there's a that. You can't. Yeah, right. You got to turn your whole. What's that? Yeah, anyone can sneak up on Batman. They just got to come up real close to him. Here, we got some pictures. We got some pictures. Let me see. Can I make this? Yeah. These are much more clearer than what we just watched. Only 3, but they're there. Detail looks great. I don't know what IGN is doing on their uploads, but their quality is just horrendous. Yeah, I don't know what it is about their videos. Now, it is weird because Star Wars Outlaws was told not to be captured at high quality. So it's not their fault there. But now this game, is it another studio that told them not to capture it at high quality? Weird. El Dente says, after years of having Sarge yell at me, I finally learned not to pre-order. Yeah, you've been here since 2015, right? Something like that. It's been 10 years. It's crazy. Yeah, because we met each other at the convention. That was like 2015, right? 2015. Right. Like way back then. Yeah, it was like 15, 16, something like that. I have a picture. I'll have to go back and look at the picture. But 30, I want to pre-order the character for Sparking Zero. Hey, you do what you want. All I say is, if you pre-order a video game, and then the game comes out broke, buggy, and unfinished, or there's something wrong with it, and I'm not saying you specifically, Zero. I'm talking about anybody, right? If you buy a game ahead of time and it comes out in any way, shape, or form where you're upset about it, you have no place to speak. That's all I'm saying. He's already taught me. I won't Wuhong, but I'm not going to pre-order it. Yeah, you don't need to pre-order it, right? You can still get it. You can still get it. Just wait. Wait. Like, literally the day it comes out, you can watch videos that drop early anyway, right? And see all the information you need to see from the people that got paid for their content. They got paid to make the content in some way, shape, or form. If it was airfare or, you know, whatever. And then they'll make a video, and then you can look at it and go, oh, you know what? I'm going to get that. All right. Since we were talking about Palworld, let's go to the next story. Because the imaginary money that this company made from the non-release games, because the game's not released yet, they're talking about what their next project is. I love it. So the follow-up to Palworld could go beyond AAA, but Pocketpair CEO only wants to pursue projects that are interesting as indie games. Okay, so Palworld's explosive success earlier this year made developer Pocketpair heaps of money. No, it didn't. It's not official. You can't say it made you heaps of money if it didn't launch yet. By some people in chat's logic. Okay. But the CEO would rather make an indie-sized game over something that could also go beyond AAA. Palworld was developer using the money Pocketpair made from its two previous games, which it should have been. That's the way companies should do, right? You make a game, you sell a game, you make a little money from that game. You invest it back into your company. You make a next game. You invest a little bit of money. You take that money, you throw it back in. So they made Craftopia and Overdungeon. According to GameSpeak's interview with CEO, what's his name? Mizobi, translated by Google Translate as Deep L. He also paid off Palworld Survival meets Pokemon genre mashup rocketed its success, ranking in tens of billions of yen when it reached around 70 million, enough to make the game at a AAA scale. Mizobi, however, says that Pocketpair's structure isn't equipped to handle something that big, and that he's more interested in smaller games. Mizobi says that there aren't any games he wants to make that would also require a huge budget. He wants to pursue something that he thinks is interesting as an indie game. Last month, Palworld community manager John Buckley urged people to spend as much money as they can on indies as they can. In an interview with the YouTube channel Going Indie, Buckley also, as Mizobi seems, he wants the indie sector to thrive as much as possible in the as the AAA live service games that are releasing every year. Palworld has received several updates since its release in early access, but Pocketpair has pledged to keep it going indefinitely after it finishes eventually. It's going to move on to its next thing. Okay? Now, obviously, here's the thing, and again, early access, beta, whatever it is, they don't have to support the game if they don't want to anymore. They made a shit ton of money. They don't have to do anything, and that's the reason that we tell people not to pre-order games and whatnot, because if they make all the money beforehand, then there's no reason for them to fix the game, right? Now, obviously, Palworld is in a different form, right? Because it's a small independent studio, so they made a crap ton of money, and they're still going to support it. But just think about it. For every company that made it like this, there could be a company that comes out, makes a shit ton of money, and then they just run with the money because they don't have to finish the project. Look at Ark. What did they do with the money they made from Ark? They made that, what was it called? Atlas, World Atlas, whatever the hell it was, that pirate game that they made. What the fuck happened to that thing? Okay, they took everyone's money up front, and they kind of did whatever with it. Okay, so although it's unlikely we're going to see back to Palworld for some time, Pocketpair recently formed Palworld Entertainment in collaboration with Sony to take care of the global licensing and merchandising activities associated with Palworld outside of the interactive game. According to the official announcement, so whatever Pocketpair's next game ends up being, Palworld's success will continue to benefit the studio. Still, Mozobi interest is making more indie games instead of one massive follow-up to Palworld isn't something we see very often. Now, most studios go bigger and bigger until it doesn't work anymore. Part of Palworld's appeal is that it doesn't trying to be the next game to spend your life in. It just happens to be the good that people wanted to do that anyway. If it didn't take a big budget, hyper-polished experience to win millions of people over, if Palworld was that kind of game, the risk of failure could have been devastating. So I'm surprised that Pocketpair doesn't want to dramatically change its strategy. So that's another thing, right? Now, obviously, as an independent studio, getting a game that makes you a crap ton of money, if it's, what's the studio that made Among Us, right? They worked on that game for like 2 years. They were working on Among Us 2, and then all of a sudden Among Us 1 blew up, right? So now they have a lot of money coming in, and now they're trying to make Among Us 2 with a bigger budget and whatnot. Pocketpair here, because they made a game that obviously people joked that wasn't going to do good and whatnot, it did very well. So much so that it's made more money than most games make in their entire lifetime, and it's an independent studio. So now, how do they come back? Do they, once this game's done, do they make, Palworld 2, or do they do it like Larian Studios has done? And Baldur's Gate 3 is a thing. They made it. Now they move on and they go make something completely different. So the expectations are not there for them, right? Even though it will be, right? This, because there'll be people that say, this is not the game. This is not the Palworld we asked for, right? Whatever it is, right? The Batman, right? This is not the Batman game we wanted from Rocksteady. Will they go on to make another game like Palworld? Will they go on to make a completely different game? Do they broaden their horizon and make whatever they feel? Because now they have the luxury, because of all the money they've made in the game that doesn't exist for a lot of people because it's not released yet. But they have so much money that they can now go make other projects they want to do. But they don't have to now worry about outside publishers telling them what to do. They have their own, they've made their own destiny with this because of Palworld's success. So now they can actually make the games they want. So where do they go from this, right? Do they say they want to keep making or independent indie games, which I think is really good because this is how the industry started. Small studios created games, reinvested that money back into make more games, so on and so forth until someone came along that had a crap ton of money and said, you know what? I'm going to publish these guys and I'm going to make a crap ton of money. Then Activision, EA, 2K, all of these companies, Microsoft, Sony, where they come in and now they pick up all these other independent studios, bring them into the corporation, make the bigger games, and they lose their identity. Okay, I hope that Pocketpair stays small. I hope that they make the games they want to make. I hope now that they have the money that they have, they make the games they want to make where they don't have to bend the knee to a publisher and they can just make the games that they want to make and they can make whatever they want to make, right? Look at Epic. Epic wanted to make what they wanted to make and it struggled for the longest time. It failed on Fortnite big time, right? The original Fortnite, Save the World, bombed completely. 3-month cycle, changed it around, 8 years in development for Fortnite Save the World. But then they made Fortnite Battle Royale after they basically stole it from PUBG by using the same, the engine that PUBG was using. And they made Fortnite. And the rest is history. Okay. Now Epic has so much money that they don't have to worry about making the things that other people wanted them to make. They can just make the games that they want to make and do whatever they want, right? So, what do you get from this? You should support independent developers, right? Like Hades 1, Hades 2, Tunic, what other ones? Deep Rock Galactic, right? There is so many good independent studios out there, indie devs that are making games. Hell, look at No Man's Sky. They're an independent company, right? They sold their soul to the devil because they went with Sony in the beginning, and it ruined them. And then they had to climb out of the pit, okay, to bring back No Man's Sky from the depths of hell, okay? And now it's a completely different game than it is. And now they have so much money, now Hello Games can make the next game that they want to make, which is Light No Fire, right? And they could be their own publisher and whatnot. So instead of buying these AAA games, instead of supporting these games that come out broke, buggy, unfinished, it's a little weird with Palworld because it's an early access. It's still unfinished. There's no difference between an early access, beta, or a AAA game that comes out nowadays. They're broke, buggy, and unfinished. But indie games, for the most part, are done games when they come out. And they don't break the bank. They don't cost $70, $80. They're not on streaming services. They're like $10, $20, $30, $40. And they're much, much better games than these AAA games that are out there. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think about independent studios? Are you just really high up on you have to buy AAA games and now the quadruple A game like Skull and Bones? Or do you do Dave the Diver? Or do you do Palworld? Or do you do even as what's it called? BattleBit Remaster, right? There's so many good independent studios that are making games, and they don't need this whole hoopla of AAA and quadruple A games. But let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. All right. Let me see what you guys are saying. When they start saying heaps of money, get ready for the car buying extravaganza. Well, we had that talk, Sarge, that the developer came out and said that they have so much money, they're scared to have that much money because they don't know what to do with it. Travis says, heaps of money that should have been a free-to-play game. Amazing. But why should it have been a free-to-play game, Travis? So you would rather have a free-to-play game where they're charging $10, $15 for microtransactions? Is that what you're saying? You would rather have a free-to-play microtransaction game than the game that they gave you? There's no microtransactions in that game. When Travis gets like this, you can't really talk to him. Chris says, nobody said that the Palworld didn't make money, but the official list of best-selling products doesn't count early access products. When you're comparing sales, they use release products to compare. I don't care what the official release is if it's on the list of best-selling games of the year. Palworld made 23 million copies sold. You could put it on the official list or whatever list. The actual factual things is that it sold more copies than this thing that was released. Those are facts. Argus says, this is smaller independent companies out here making some of the best games ever created in the mainstream AAA games devs releasing flop after flop, which is why I advocate for of the reduction of these. A larger studio to reduce their costs, lower the risk, and they also get more creative, like the double A's and independent studios. That makes bangers. Yeah. Travis says, I mean, the only good part about Fortnite is if you got a better free to place racing, by all means, share. What? The problem with indie is if they get with a bigger developer like Sony, Hello Games wanted that quick payout. No, that's not why they got with Sony. They got with Sony because they didn't have enough money, so Sony gave them money to publish the game for them. They needed that extra money. That's the problem. Studios don't have enough money. Hence why they have to get in bed with bigger companies. Argus says Palworld doesn't have microtransactions or DLC. That's the only way they could make money. Also, the game probably came out better for it. That's what I'm saying. Meanwhile, Travis is here saying it should have been a free-to-play game, which is like, what? They made a game, or they're making a game because it's still in early access, right? And they've done more updates and stuff than a AAA game. And it wasn't a full-price game, by the way. It wasn't a full-price game. Kenneth Brinkley says, Stray was a great innovative indie game, and I hope they made enough money for a sequel. The problem with, I think Stray, didn't they sign a deal with PlayStation originally? So when you sign a deal, the publisher takes that money and whatnot. So hopefully they made enough money from that to make a sequel. I haven't played it myself, but I heard good things about it. Okay, didn't it get Game of the Year or Indie Game of the Year, whatever it was? Right? It was up there. I think it was Game of the Year, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on a second. It was nominated. Best indie. Yeah, best indie. Stray, right? Like, When independent companies sign big deals with the big publishers, they take a lot of their money, and they got to pay that up front first. So hopefully they got enough money out of it to make a second one, but I would assume they did. But who knows? I5 Rush got awards too, and that got closed down. So Quintard says, if Travis says the restaurant is awesome, I'm going across the street to the other restaurant. Just kidding. Yeah. Sarge says, Hello Games did what they had to do in order to apologize to the public for acting like a corpo. So they had to do better. Right. And then they got the hell out of that contract. And not until after that contract ended with Sony did they start fixing the game. Jiro says, I've been playing Shadows of Mordor. It just feels like games don't have the identity anymore. Here's a perfect example, right? I don't know if this happened or not, but I've been playing Marvel's Midnight Suns, okay? And everything about that game feels like there was some sort of live service like tacked on into it, right? Just the way the game is. There's a lot of substance to the game. It's a good game. I'm not doing shade to it. My point is to this, because what you bring up here is saying Shadows of Mordor feels like a game that don't have identity anymore. A lot of games, like Suicide Squad, like Marvel's Avengers, like Anthem, Outriders. What was the other game that came out recently that was... Gotham Knights. Okay. Like, certain games baked in some mechanics that when you play the game, you're like, well, this seems kind of weird. Hogwarts Legacy, for instance, right? Like, they had timers in the thing, and you're like, well, why would I need timers in Hogwarts Legacy? Okay, why? It's a single-player game, just hit it, whatnot, right? You don't need timers. Now, obviously, that's not a live service game. Gotham Knights has certain things like that with the cosmetics and whatnot, and you're like, something feels off about this game. It feels like something was baked in, and then they removed it during development cycle, and then it wasn't a live service game, or it wasn't a live service game, and then they made it a live service game type of stuff. Right? And they lose their identity of what it is. And you can see the reminiscence of that stuff in the game when you play it, right? You just play it and you're like, well, that's kind of weird. Why would they have a box that you open up that like glows all the time? It's like, that seems like a microtransaction type of thing, right? So there's lots of games now that lose the identity for either once it wasn't a live service game and then they made it into a live service game, or it was a live service game, they were pushing forward with it, and then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? The landscape's not going to look good. Let's switch it to a non-live service game, and then it becomes a single-player game. And it loses what it is. Look at Call of Duty. Call of Duty has lost its identity. I do not want to play a game. I do not want to play a war game where I'm running around as Nicki Minaj going up against a sloth who's also shooting Godzilla and then punches me in the face with a King Kong glove. Like, that's not why that's not why I would want to play Call of Duty. Now, I get it, right? Lots of people, millions and tens of millions of people play Call of Duty, but Call of Duty has lost its identity. Dolphin says, I think Stray is getting a DLC or a sequel, I think. Well, that's good. That's good. Argus says, so yeah, but was reason for Sean lies that weren't just on him. They put whether way they have turned into a situation all the way around and not only made it an incredible game, but it's also provided some of that. Yeah, but the thing is, Argus, he signed a contract with the organization. The organization screwed them over. He learned his lesson, okay? And since that point, 8 years ago, he's changed his tune. And now Sean Murray and Hello Games have made something completely amazing for what that studio can do. Now, it'll be very interesting to see what happens with Light No Fire when it comes out. If it has the same launch as No Man's Sky, or does it become much better what they've learned all these years because of No Man's Sky? Yeah, like Wayfinder. Yes. Wayfinder was this multi-MMO type of co-op type of thing, and then it wasn't working. And then they removed it and then put it in and made a completely different game. Now, I haven't played Wayfinder, but I'm pretty sure that if you go play Wayfinder now, there's going to be things in the game that you're like, if you didn't know it was an MMO before, and you're playing Wayfinder now, there'll be little things in the game you're like, well, that's kind of weird. I wonder if this was supposed to be an MMO in some way, shape, or form. Because it was baked into the foundation. But you don't want to run around as Nicki Minaj? No. COD has become be just like Fortnite. Yeah, it's adult Fortnite. It's when the kids are done playing Fortnite and they move into Call of Duty, so they can take their skins over there, and maybe there'll be what the hell was the thing called? What was the pictures that we NFTs? Maybe they'll make NFTs so they can go from Fortnite and to bring your collection over to COD. So ridiculous. Altern says, that's the dream. Shooting guns against zombies as Nicki Minaj. That's the dream. Dark Taco says, COD would love to be a platform just like Fortnite. They all clearly don't have the management to facilitate it because they're imbeciles. True. But I'll tell you what, they're banking on it, man. They're banking on it. Come on, Warwick. Warwick says, morning, it's way better now that they removed that. You're talking about Wayfinder. Eclipse says, Wayfinders are good now. I'm so glad they got rid of the rights to make it a single player / co-op. Sarge says, COD is dead. First person shooter. It's a clown show for kids. High price skins that you don't fucking see. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing, Sarge. You're buying skins for someone else. Right? Imagine buying an outfit, not because you want to wear it. You're wearing it to show other people. Right? Now they got WWE skins. in Call of Duty, they got WWE skins. Jesus. Zero says, I don't know about you, but I like running around as a maid and killing aliens in the First Descendant. I don't like... Argus has the maid outfit for his character as well, right? We had this whole little backstory. I was like, what was she doing before she became... Was she cleaning a house? Like, she's a First Descendant. She's cleaning a house, and all of a sudden she's like, oh my god, the world's in a pair. I gotta go save it. And she just ran out the door in her maid outfit. I didn't understand the backstory there. Obviously, I'm being facetious, right? I'm not a big fan. I like the outfits that they look, badass. I don't want to look like a housemaid. But each their own. Each their own. Altern says Wavefinder still has the dungeon system, and it feels and has the feel of live service. Everything else in the game does not feel live service, but the dungeon loot system is very live service. Well, that's my point, though, right, Altern? Like, if you didn't know, you'd be like, this seems like a live service type of thing, right? But for people that didn't know it was a live service beforehand, they wouldn't know. They'd just be like, something feels off about this, right? You got to show off that Eververse armor. Because you gotta buy the Eververse armor, Dark. Because if you don't, light bulbs shut off, and the devs can't buy their next car. I've got the maid outfit for Glee. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't know you had the maid outfit, but you also have you made a scenario fetish. Hey. Whatever. You like things clean. I get it. Plus that those type of devs or the people over there, they do have a maid fetish. So hence why the maid outfits are there. So Sarge's backstory is I have dry pants, and I would like that to change. Jesus. Argus says, in my Valby has an outfit where she also wearing basically nothing. I'm a male. This is how I want to see the women around me. What can I say? I've got defense beyond that. You don't have to have defense. This is exactly why there's choices and stuff like that. What I'm saying is, this is also a fantasy game, right? The First Descendant is a fantasy game with aliens and shit attacking. Call of Duty was like inside the world of what we live in. Okay, like it was supposed to be like realistic at some point. Okay, and now, I mean, it could be. We could have World War III, and Nicki Minaj could have an AK-47 in her hands defending her country. It could be. Maybe it's a fruition. Maybe was this on The Simpsons? Right? Maybe Nicki Minaj and Snoop Dogg are gonna have AK-47s running around saving the country. Maybe. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, if the world comes to an end and I see a lizard carrying a gun, I don't know what I would do. Just you're there, you're about to shoot someone, and all of a sudden a guy comes up next to you, look at me like, Cheech, what are you doing here? And then all of a sudden a sloth, a full-size sloth comes up with an AK, be like, the fuck? I'm just gonna leave that there, Dolphin. I'm just gonna leave that there. Drummond says, good morning. How much longer do we have to wait for anything exciting to happen? For what? For my stream? Or for some actual game to come out? If you're waiting for something exciting to happen in my stream, just turn it off now. I think there are good games out there. right? I mean, you can go play games from like 17 years ago. You can go play games from 17 years ago. Those are good games. 10 years ago, even 6 years ago. There's games out there from 6 years ago. There's good games now. You got to wait 18, 24 months for them to be there after they come out, but hey, whatever. All right. We got the next story, which Disney explains why it's invested $1.5 billion into Fortnite and what it hopes to achieve. Now I have a question. Ron asked earlier, why doesn't Microsoft take the money and make games? Why doesn't Disney take the money that they have of $1.5 billion? That's a lot of games they can make over at Disney. That's a lot of games they can make for $1.5 billion. Why didn't they make their own game? Why are they giving it to Epic to make a game? Travis says, 30, I'm asking generally as a gamer, if a Nemesis system never gets copyrighted and is more games, would they have made mediocre games into good or not? I have no idea. I mean, it would all depend on what games they were. Like if the Nemesis system was, I mean, obviously I was about to say a game like Hogwarts Legacy. Would that make it better? Perhaps. Would the Nemesis system make Midnight Suns better? Perhaps. It all depends on what type of game they were making for it. I can't say that yes or no, because with that question, it'd be like, what about if the Nemesis system never existed? You know, whatever. Altern says, it's funny how people were mad that COD Infinite Warfare was in space and didn't have the COD essence, but Nicki Minaj does for some strange reason. You know, Altern, you're right? I remember that. I remember when people were saying that the space battles, it just didn't feel like COD. And then there was the thing where COD came out just like 3-4 years ago. It was so realistic. I was so appalled. Like, there was people dying on the screen, and it felt so real. And now we have Nicki Minaj shooting a sloth in the face. It's a much better place now. Argus says, I'm playing some 20-year-old game these days, even if I had to buy old hardware to do it. Yeah, you can still do it. Sarge says, exciting would be complete game day in release without day one patch with the return policy of a DLC in 3 months guaranteed. That would be exciting. Waterbear says, to be honest, a lot of great games out there, and we just become so spoiled with ADHD-ridden boredom sets in the record pace nowadays because we are the get it now generation. I don't even think it's get it now generation, though. Like, I truly believe a lot of, like, by what you're saying, Water, okay, we're spoiled. I'm spoiled because I want a game complete at launch? I'm spoiled because I want a game complete at launch? All I'm asking is for a game to be complete at launch where I don't have to wait 12, 18, 24 months for that game to be complete. Fixed. Altern says, because Disney sucks doing their own thing. Just look at Star Wars. Infinite Warfare was amazing. Anyone saying otherwise is wrong. Amazing. No, we want we're spoiled because we have to wait, right? I don't think it's because we have to wait. Like, I'm okay if the story, if I play a game and the story is like we have to wait for like the next DLC type of thing, but I'm not spoiled because I wanted Cyberpunk to be done day one. I'm not spoiled because I wanted Fallout 76 to work. I'm not spoiled because Battlefield 2042 didn't come out and it was broke, buggy, and on day one, right? Like, I'm not spoiled because I want games to work day one. I'm not spoiled because Star Wars Battlefront 2 Collector's series that came out, the remastered one, by the way, was a broken, buggy mess 12 years after or 15 years after it launched, right? That doesn't make me spoiled. All right, let me read this. Okay. So Disney explains why it's invested $1.5 billion into Fortnite and what it hopes to achieve. It hopes to achieve $3.4 billion is what it wants to achieve. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so as part of Disney's latest earnings briefing, the company discussed some of its plans for gaming. The company's executive summary touches on Disney's deal with Epic Games to create content for Fortnite. Now, with Disney saying the company hopes to deliver transformational new games. It hopes to deliver transformational, whatever that means. Okay. We are reaching consumers in innovative new ways, such as working with Epic Games to bring together Disney beloved brands and franchises with a hugely popular Fortnite and transformational new games and entertainment universe, and the company said. Now, Disney went on to claim that its business for licensed video games is the largest in the world, and the deal with Epic Games is another example of this. Okay. As for why Disney is investing so much money in the video games, the company said it's trying to capitalize on the transformative industry-wide shift towards converged gaming ecosystems. Okay. In February, Disney invested a further $1.5 billion into Epic Games to create a new universe, okay, for Disney fans to play, watch, shop, engage with characters and content from the Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and Avatar brands, amongst others. Disney and Epic also touted the ability for fans to create their own stories and experiences and share content in which others as part of this, which is great because they're already doing that with the movies, right? They just bring a person that's got like fanfic and they're like, come on in. And then that's when you get the acolyte. Okay. Disney and Epic have yet to officially unveil any specific projects in Fortnite tied to Disney, but as many are hoping to see some of the kind of virtual Disney world. Fortnite, of course, is no longer just one game. Instead, it's more keen to the platform these days in addition to the main Battle Royale game. Fortnite hosts games like Rocket Racing, Fortnite Festival, Lego Fortnite, along with countless other user-created games and experiences on the platform. Whatever Epic and Disney might be cooking up, could this be just the latest game in the existing Fortnite platform? Now, Disney revealed that what's next for the company across the board is D23 is coming weekend this coming weekend in Anaheim, and it would like to be know for sure if Disney will discuss its Fortnite plans in Certainly Possible. Now, in terms of Disney's commentary around being the largest player in the gaming for licensed games, they likely are referencing the numerous deals Disney has made with outside studios to create content. Whereas Disney uses to develop games in-house via their own Disney Interactive Studios, the company subsequently shut this down and instead works on outside teams as part of the licensing agreement. This is why you get massive, made the Avatar game, Star Wars game. You got Marvel. You got plenty of Marvel games coming out. Here's one thing Disney used to make. Their in-house games, LucasArts, made fantastic games, right? Disney games were actually pretty damn good. But then they decided that they wanted to fire everybody, close the whole studios down, and then license it out to everybody else. Because not only could they make money from the licensing deals, okay, but they can also make a percentage off the total product afterwards. So as Disney is as busy as regard, the numerous licensed Disney games in the works from outside teams currently include Indiana Jones, The Great Circle from Microsoft, Star Wars Outlaws from Ubisoft, Star Wars Hunters from Zynga, Epic Mickey's Refurbished from Purple Lamp, and Disney Pixel RPG from Gung Ho Online, just to name a few. Okay, so lots and lots of stuff. So what do we think? And I think I had a video last year when they announced this about what they could potentially do with this Disney / Fortnite thing. And just as this picture shows here, right? Let me go here. Right? This whole where they show the island, right? This thing right here. Okay. This whole picture of the island that they have, where they have the Marvel and they have the Disney castle and they have like the cruise line ship, and they have MGM Studios and whatnot. Like this right here, you can see like the shops. Like this is Stark Tower. This is Nightmare Before Christmas. This is Monsters Inc. This is what's the Pixel one called? Ralph Breaks the Internet. My son just popped his head into the door. Okay, like they have all of these different things that you could go to, right? In the background, you see like the Hoth battle with Star Destroyers and the Death Star back there, right? There's a whole bunch of stuff. Like, what is this? What does it mean? Like, obviously, Epic wants to make the metaverse, right? The metaverse, and what they're doing, instead of making the one-stop shop, like in their universe, going to different things like Second Life did and other things, right? Disney's making their own little Disney branch within Fortnite itself. So you'll be able to shop for clothes, maybe in real life, right? So like you go to this Marvel section, and not only can you buy the shirt for your character in game, but you can also buy the shirt for yourself in real life. Or you can get a mug or the gun or the thing or the car, whatever it is, right? So much so they could even make the virtual world, right? There's a couple of games that did this, right? There's a Walt Disney game that you walk around the actual Disneyland park. Okay, you get autographs signed from the mascots and whatnot. You ride the rides, or like little mini games. That's a game itself, right? Then there's things like in Minecraft where you can go around Disney World and ride the rides inside of Minecraft Disney World. So I'm assuming they're going to do the exact same type of thing inside of Fortnite, where they'll recreate Disney World inside the actual game itself, right? And I'm talking the whole thing. Epcot, MGM, or I'm sorry, it's not called MGM. It's called Hollywood Studios, Magic Kingdom, right? And Animal Kingdom. Maybe not Animal Kingdom so much because it's just really a zoo. But if you could virtually ride the rides inside the game while you have your character and your Darth Vader or your Avatar or your Captain Marvel, whatever it is, you get to explore. If it's Mickey Mouse, you get to explore that whole world and whatever they're building within this. And they don't have to do anything because the park attendance is down, right? I live in the Central Florida area. We go there, and you can see that it's busy, but it's not as busy as it used to be, right? Prices are up. Well, how else can they get money out there? How else can they make other money from other avenues? Because the parks bring in all the things when everything else fails around Disney. The parks bring in a big chunk of money. Well, if you can make a virtual, right? And then think about this, the VR space and all of these other things. So it'll be very interesting to see if they do paid DLC, where all of a sudden now you're playing just in the Star Wars universe, and maybe Battlefront 3 doesn't exist as an EA thing. Maybe Battlefront, maybe they don't call it Battlefront, but maybe they take Battlefront and they put it inside of Fortnite. I mean, basically, if you take the BR from Fortnite, and all of a sudden you put capture flag points in places, and you take all the characters of Star Wars characters within it, all of a sudden you have your own Star Wars battle royale. You have your own battlefield within there. You can put them in any landscape that they want. It's pretty smart, but we'll see what happens with this in the future. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think in the live chat right now. Where do you think that this is going to go with Disney and Fortnite, and what type of things are they going to make with this? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you can make a membership as little as $5. Like what I do here, please check out some of our other videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. I do these little breakout videos, those of you that are coming into the chat for the first time. I do these little breakout videos so I can post them later. I haven't been doing uploads recently because just uploads haven't been doing very well. So I'm pretty well known for just the live streams. So those are pretty consistent, 300, 400 views and stuff like that. All right, let me see what you guys are saying here. Altern says that since games have turned $70, I can count a handful of games that are really worth $70 due that they come complete and finished. Well, it depends. Are you counting $70 on day one, or are you counting $70 24 months from now when you pay $70 and wait 2 years for it to finish? Like even Outlaws right now, you got to pay $140, and you're waiting for that content next spring by the time the stuff comes out. Sarge says, I have a question. Did they remove the building aspect of Fortnite from the game? I don't play out of the loop. There is a game mode where you can do the building, and then there's a game mode that you can't do the building. I don't think they removed it completely. I think that's an option. Hold on one second. Would you like to be on the show? Right. There you go. So my son says they didn't remove it, but a lot of people just don't use it anymore. He's just sitting outside the door listening because he wanted to hear about this the Fortnite thing. Travis says, instead of making a good game, they're going to Fortnite. Fortnite, if you don't like it or not, is a very successful game. It brings in billions of dollars a year. Lego signed a $2.3 billion deal with them. It's done very well for them. Done very well for them. This looks like the world from Ready Player One. Perhaps. Yeah, perhaps. I think I mean, here, I'll loop it, right? I'll loop it. Well, we'll play from the beginning, right? Just imagine. Like, I understand where we are in a space of, like, you know, we're upset about shitty games and not, but if a company can put all these things in one realm, and you're playing a racing game of cars, or you're playing the Marvel game with inside of Fortnite where it's just Marvel characters and you're doing side quests and like just don't think that it's Fortnite where you're taking like the Captain America skin and using it. Like, it could be a full-fledged like Marvel game within Fortnite, within the Disney thing, right? There's like layers to the thing. It's not just this is what it is, right? It's not going to be Disney Battle Royale. It's games within games within games within games. Instead of them making the Infinity game themselves, you're going to log into Fortnite and you're going to pick Battle Royale, Lego Fortnite, Disney, whatever. And you're going to go into those things. Right? So think about this. They can make deals with Disney where you walk into, and they've done this with what was the place on Sony? Was it called Home? It was called Home. If you guys remember PlayStation on the PlayStation 3, there was this thing called Home where you had your character, you lived in this like meta world, and there was like a movie theater you could go into and watch stuff. Okay? Think about if Deadpool and Wolverine, this was out already, and you could get full early access to watch the film with inside of Fortnite if you purchase something, right? You purchase the Deadpool skin, it gives you access to go watch the Deadpool Wolverine movie with inside the thing itself. Again, just putting something out there, okay? So you buy the Wolverine skin or you buy the Deadpool skin, that's your ticket. Now you go into the actual theater inside the game, and now everybody that's a Deadpool Wolverine fan for Marvel is now sitting in the virtual theater, and we're all watching the movie together. Right? They've just combined everything. Theaters, but you're watching it at home, but you're in a theater, right? They could do so many different things. Live concerts, different things, shows, promotional material. There's so many things that they could do with inside the world itself if Disney's smart about it, right? If Disney's smart about it. Remember says, no more Fortnite. I hope something new. Too much of one thing is definitely not good for the industry. What do you really think? Here's the thing. It's not... Fortnite's just the name of the realm, right? Like, you go to Minecraft. Minecraft is not just about stacking blocks and building things anymore. There's different realms and different things you can do. Roblox is not just that game. It's a bunch of different things inside of Roblox. Fortnite is meta. Right? Fortnite is Ready Player One. Fortnite, we know that's why it's called Fortnite BR. Fortnite, where you're doing the rhythm game now, or you're doing the racing game now. Fortnite's just the name. And I wouldn't be surprised if down the road they kind of alter the name in some way, shape, or form. It's not what the game is. Right? BR, Save the World, Rhythm, Lego, Disney. Okay? It's Fortnite this, Fortnite that. Waterbear says, quick question. Did we forget that the games cost damn near the exact same price in the 90s that they do now? The only difference is that the game's a service aspect? Or am I Twilight Zone? No, they're still there. They just put a Fall Guys mode in Fortnite, did they? Could you imagine, though, Travis? What if they take a Marvel's game where you level up your characters and stuff, but it's inside of Fortnite? BMX says, I was in a meeting at work. Is this for Fortnite or in the new game? This is Disney gave $1.5 billion for them to make a Disney universe with inside of Fortnite. This was months ago, but they just had a call saying what they wanted. They wanted transformational content inside of Fortnite for what Disney is doing. 30, the dev, Balantro put it is his will that he died. He doesn't want it to be sold from gambling sites because even though it's a poker-based roguelike game, it doesn't like gambling. They got Rocket League and Marvel in Fortnite. Right. They have all the brands. There's a lot of different brands inside. Microsoft, Sony, right? Transformers. They have a lot of IPs inside there. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Star Wars, Marvel, DC. They got He-Man. Did they put He-Man in there? They got G.I. Joe. Right? They put G.I. Joe in there? Ford says, why do people forget the games? Not me. I bring it up all the time. My mom paid $80 for Yar's Revenge in like 1985. That's for an Atari 2600 game. Someone should make Avengers 2.0 in Fortnite. Let's go. We joked about this. Right? I said there's all the Marvel characters in there, and I said all the Star Wars characters. I said someone should make the Battlefield 3 or Battlefront 3 with inside Fortnite. I said that because you can make your own battles and own maps and whatnot. Someone should make the Star Wars Battlefront game with inside of Fortnite itself. August says the difference is to sell the games to way more people than they did in the 90s as well. With the cheaper physical media process, is more shipping and delivery efficiency that balances it out. Oh yeah, there's way more people that play video games now. Way more people. And that's just the thing. You can't get everyone to give you $100, but you can get everyone to give you 10. Right? And then in between there's going to be other people that give you $100 and $20 and $50. But they're trying to get everybody to give them 10. Altered says, well, they had Marvel's seasons where you were Hulk, Iron Man, Storm, Magneto is now in the game. All those powers were there as well. Right? That's what I'm saying. Now, they could just take all those characters, move them into the Marvel land, and there could be a whole Marvel, just Marvel separate game mode that's just all Marvel within the Disney realm. Right? Star Wars, Marvel. They can make. There's games right now inside of Fortnite. You can have your own MMO inside of Fortnite. People have created their own little leveling systems and different things with inside the stuff. Right? Pretty cool. Every couple months we go back in and check out some of the stuff. Travis says 30. Imagine if Marvel Heroes MMO, but in Fortnite. That's what I'm saying, Travis. I'm saying people can do that right now inside of Fortnite. They can create an MMO inside of Fortnite where you like kill a certain amount of zombies and then you level up things and you unlock different abilities and different stuff. That's happening right now in Fortnite. Not to the extent of like this massive what's the word I'm looking for? Like you're leveling up your guns and different things, but you could be a melee guy, you could be a gun guy, you could be a magic guy. Like that's happening right now. Can't they just do a Marvel Ultimate Alliance 4 in Fortnite? They did something in Fortnite where they did where it was top down, and I forget, it was like a gauntlet type of stuff. Here, let me see if I can look it up. They have first person. Yeah. Okay. So someone created this. This is with inside Fortnite. Okay. This is with inside Fortnite. Someone created a top down within Fortnite. Okay. They have the village and everything. It's like, right. This is already happening inside the game with the game engine and whatnot. Okay. The imagination is limitless. What you could do inside of Fortnite right now. Right? Quest-based, different things. Right? This is just one example. This is just one example of what people can do inside Fortnite. Let me see if I can find another one for you. Here, even their own thing they showed back at the Epic Unreal stuff, right? They can make a first person inside of Fortnite. It doesn't have to be third person. They can do a whole bunch of stuff, different things. And this was gorgeous. We played this. Okay. The imagination and what you can do in this game is endless. Is endless. Because it's not just everyone thinks Fortnite kid battle royale, and that's not what they're doing, right? They're literally can make anything with inside of the engine here. Right? Now think about it, what you could do for just Disney. Travis says 30, imagine Diablo 4 in Fortnite. Only it's good. It's a brand because it has no brand. And it's working. Right? It's a space. And everyone's doing it, right? Fortnite's doing the exact same thing as Minecraft. Minecraft's doing the same thing as Roblox. They're all doing the same thing. Which is the same thing that Second Life was doing all the way back from 2004. Okay? Second Life was doing all of this stuff where people were making their own servers. They were making their own role-playing servers. You could be like vampires. You can be cyberpunk people. You could be real estate. People were making their own worlds with inside the world itself. I'm trying to find... There was a gauntlet that I saw. What's that game where you literally climb up? You climb up the it's like an endless climb. I forget what it's called. People play it. A lot of streamers play it. Is it only up? Yeah. That's a game mode inside Fortnite now. Right? People recreated it with inside Fortnite. I'm trying to find the gauntlet thing. We played it. They got vehicles and tanks. Is this within Fortnite? No, that's not in Fortnite. We see if Fortnite features actually has other. Yeah, this person like makes games. Makes games with inside the games itself. Here, I'll show you this one. Right? Not that it matters, like, what it is, but, like, if you guys have ever played any of the player-made type of stuff, right, where you walk in, like in Minecraft or Roblox, or any other kind of thing, and they have boards and different things where you can walk up and look at the information and check out the different stuff, okay? And there's different things with inside, right? There's a leaderboard, current servers, right? There's quest givers. You have to have a certain amount of things to grind for, right? But it's within the base of Fortnite itself. Okay? Now think about this. Like, there's the forest board, and he goes through the portal. Okay? Now he transforms to the portal of the forest. Now he's in the forest. Okay? Now think about this is like a Borderlands, or a Halo, or a Marvel game, or whatever. Pick whatever you want. You could literally make football inside this game if you really wanted to. And that's what Epic wants you to do. They want you to do everything that you want to do inside of Fortnite itself. This is huge. This is huge because not only could you get the Star Wars Battlefront that you wanted, but within Fortnite, right? And people will be like, well, this is not the Fortnite. This is not the Battlefront we wanted. But it's the Battlefront you're getting, right? That's the thing. Think about Disney's mentality. They're like, yeah, we have Battlefront with EA, but EA wanted a crap ton of money. But now we're paying $1.5 billion, and we can make Battlefront within our own game itself, right? And not only is it one game, but it's 10 games, 100 games, 1,000 games with inside that realm itself. Travis says that, oh my God, Fortnite could finally give you Transformers Reactivate. Look, Transformers Reactivate is coming. And the day it comes, Travis, when it finally comes, you will no longer be here. Because I will ban you from talking all the shit that you're talking. Oh, I know, Altern. Someone did create Battlefront, but obviously because of licensing reasons. But why do you think they can't show it? Why do you think they won't allow it besides licensing issues? Because they're working on something behind the scenes, I would think. Oh, look at the tune change now. Oh, no, man. I'll be playing with you. Oh, will you? Will you? Yeah, my son wanted to play Fortnite the other day because I just started letting him play. But then he lost his electronics, so he's not allowed to play right now. So we haven't played yet. My theory is like it's a restaurant. Go to the bathroom, food comes out, insult the game, game comes out faster. Yeah, I don't think that's how it works. Uh-oh, what did he do now? It is what it is. He's being a kid. That's exactly why, Dolphin. That's exactly right. Altered says some of the maps have Iron Man powers, but they get banned due to using the license stuff. These things are still inside Fortnite. Why are they still there if they're not using it? Right. See, Altern? Now you're getting it, right? Now you're getting it because you're reading between the lines, right? Someone would just look at that and go, oh, well, they're using it and they're going to ban. But you're thinking deeper. You're thinking of why are the things still in the game? Because they're going to reuse those things either down the road, okay? Otherwise, they would just remove it, right? Or is Disney doing something behind the scenes with Fortnite where they're working on something and making stuff like this? Now, see, this is the perfect example, right, of how I say things and then it comes true. Because you look at that and say, well, there's the Iron Man powers are within the game. Disney's working on a Marvel land. So there could be like a Marvel section where you make a Marvel game with inside that realm where the characters will have full powers and all the other stuff, right? So if I say that and go, well, they're going to have a Marvel game with inside of Fortnite. Right now, it's just a projection. But when it happens, it's because it's based off of factual stuff that's happening within the behind the scenes. Because it's possible with inside of the Unreal Engine that Travis last night was talking about having an X-Men game like Marvel's Midnight Suns, right? Like Marvel's Midnight Suns. But the thing is, what if they make you could make a turn-based game with inside the engine itself, right? So you or me could make that turn-based game with inside that. Someone could make that. And you can make your maps because the maps are, I mean, they have a Fortnite creator, but within the thing, you can make procedurally generated maps. You can make procedurally generated everything. It's going to be very interesting where we go in the future, especially with Epic and what they have planned. And they're all battling it out to see who can get become the meta king. Car salesman. Right, it could be amazing, or it could be hell on earth. That's right. That's right. I'm checking Twitter right now to see if there's any other news here. Altern says, I mean, using Fortnite Unreal Creator or something like that is basically using their engine. I tried it out to see. It's like using Unreal Engine so the dev can make their own games there. Yeah, I've tried it myself as well. I made like a little racetrack inside to check it out. But I stopped using it. But I want to use it. I think it could be cool if we can make like our own little game within the game. Oh, that's funny, Dolphin. That's funny. in Fortnite. Water says, I just want another X-Men Legends game, period. Not sure why they haven't gotten any new X-Men games. Well, I would assume because the movies are not out yet, and they want to do cross promotion and whatnot. I think they could have made a game with the X-Men '97 come out, but you know, Disney doesn't want to make stuff until they know it's a success. Like in the past, Lucas just made the toys because they knew that it would sell well. Disney, now that they own Star Wars, doesn't do anything until they know, like, Grogu wasn't actual a toy until like a year and a half after the show came out. What happened with PUBG? Oh, it's a contest. Okay. So here's Inside Gamer. We have Warner Brothers looking to sell off game division, reports claim. Now, obviously, we brought this up last year when we were talking about what studios would get purchased, and I said I think WB will get purchased by Microsoft. As of the report, it says Warner Bros. Discovery appears to be trying to get out of the game's business. According to a new report, Financial Times, subscriptions needed. Warner Brothers is looking at the possibility of selling off at least a part of its game division. The report comes in just 2 weeks after Warner Brothers Games acquired Multiverse's developer Player First Games, which is just funny because they just purchased that company, and now they're looking to sell potentially off the whole gaming division, which makes sense. Why not grab someone that they can come in, right? Make a game that's getting a license deal, which is just kind of weird because think about this, right? If you are Player First Games, the people that made Multiverses, you had to pay a license. You approached WB, and WB was like, "Yeah, we'll let you use the characters." And they're like, "Oh, right, we'll pay you for the licensing and royalty fees." And they're like, "Yeah, absolutely." So then they made that deal with Warner Brothers, and they now made the Multiverses. But then Multiverses gets picked up by WB. So now Player First Games doesn't have to pay the licensing fee anymore because they are owned by the company that's making the WB IPs. But now if WB sells off the gaming division and Tencent or Microsoft or somebody else picks them up, then Player First Games goes right back to what they had before, where they're paying a licensing fee to WB, which is pretty funny because they're not getting rid of the IPs. They're just getting rid of their gaming division. They would still own all the rights to all the things that were in that video game, such as Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, and everything else. So it's very interesting to see what happens there with Warner Brothers, right? Hogwarts Legacy 2, right, coming out would be potentially owned by Tencent or Microsoft if this is true. But yet WB would still be getting paid because they have the license and IP, which then goes into a whole other conversation because once the contracts end for Multiverses, two things happen. If they sell off Player First Games to whoever else, down the road, it's a live service game. They're constantly updating it. And as the licensing falls off, you'll lose characters, right? So let's say Scooby-Doo's in the game now, or Shaggy and Velma are in the game, but all of a sudden they lose the rights to use those characters. So then you, the person that unlocked hundreds of hours, thousands of hours to unlock all these character cosmetics and whatnot, you paid real money, but all of a sudden lose that because the licensing would be gone. And this is just the same thing that's happening to like Transformers or G.I. Joe or Teenage Mutant Turtles. They would have to pull it off, or X-Men or Marvel. They would have to pull it off or down off the shop or store, so you can't purchase it anymore or use that character anymore. So that'd be very interesting to see what happens, okay, if that happens down the line from an outside source now owning the IPs or licensing the IPs instead of owning the IP. Okay, so the reports claim by selling off the games would help the company avoid possible lawsuits from various debt investors. Nothing has been finalized, however. Now, Warner Brothers Games currently owns a major IPs like Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat. They also, the publisher being Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, the live service game that was met with poor receptions. The players and critics alike were also the game lost the company somewhere around $200 million in revenue. Again, false statement. It's not just them that lost $200 million. It was that quarter. That quarter they lost $200 million, and it was part of that quarter. This isn't the first time Warner Brothers Games is a potential sales candidate. Back in 2020, it was reported that Microsoft was interested in buying the division in order to get games like Mortal Kombat, Suicide Squad, and others under its umbrella. It's unclear should a sale happen if Microsoft would also be, again, the interest due to the current situation of the company after the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Now, Warner Brothers Discovery has not responded in multiple requests for comment prior to the publishing. So obviously, I don't want this to happen. But if they're selling it off, like, who buys it? Who buys it? Apple? Google? Netflix? Right? Netflix, we know, is in the market for buying studios and whatnot. Right? Be interesting. Right? Does 2K pick them up? Does Microsoft pick them up? Does Tencent pick them up? Right? Does EA, as Travis says? Right? What happens? Right? Someone's got to pick it up. All right? If they don't pick it up, then they just kind of just go under. They just lay them off. Right? Warner Brothers is trying to make some money on this instead of just dropping it, right? They want to make it. Want to make something back on the investment. Warner Brothers has some great gaming IPs. Give someone who wants to create them, right? I think Microsoft, I don't think wants to make it though. You know what I mean, Water? I think they just want to take the IPs to just throw them onto Game Pass. More stuff to put on Game Pass. Tencent, I don't think is the right option either. I don't know. Jason says, make Mortal Kombat great again. Wasn't the last one good, Jason? I don't know. I didn't play it. I thought the last one was supposed to be really good. Noob Tech Guy says, I'm so excited about Space Marine 2. It looks sick. I've been playing Delta Force Hawk. It's been a blast. I'm relaxing before work. I had to check that out. Okuda Papa came in last night and told me about Delta Force. I know people are having a blast with it. They said it looks like what Battlefield 3 used to be. If you guys like what I do here, we literally just have conversations. That's it. I get you through a couple hours of your day in the morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. We just have conversations, go back and forth. It's not debating. It's just like hanging out in someone's house. Right? We have conversations about different topics. Chat's 1000% part of the conversation. If you like what we do here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Travis says 30 Midnight Suns is what I wish Disney would make. Instead, we get Avengers or She-Hulk. You're talking about shows. You're talking about the shows? I have a question. Here's a real solid question. Does Borderlands, the movie coming out this weekend, does it bomb or does it make it? I think it bombs. I think it 1000% just flat out, like, just gets destroyed. Jay Breezy says projected to bomb. It's 100 mil. You think it'll make 100 mil this weekend? Oh, it's getting only 10 to 20. Yeah, I think it's gonna like Megatron bomb. Yeah, I think it's gonna be bomb. Like, it's gonna be bad. Here's the question. The Marvels last year only made $254 million. Does Borderlands the movie make more or less than that in its complete run? Water says, I forgot it was coming out this weekend. I'm scrolling right now on my feed and I don't see anything. I don't see anything on it. I saw one picture of Jack Black, and that was it. I don't see anything on it. When does Beetlejuice 2 come out? Yeah, I saw an article that Jack Black recorded his whole dialogue before they even shot one thing of film. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Borderlands comes out August 9th, doesn't it? Yeah, August 9th. Comes out August 9th. Estimated $100 million budget. Not a bad budget. So it needs to make about $300 million. So even if it does bomb and only makes less than $254 million, they could still make a possibly a sequel. Argus says only gamers even know what Borderlands is. Right, but that's why they got the actresses that they got. Because the people are like, oh, what's that with Kevin Hart's in? I like Kevin Hart. Let's go check it out, right? That's why they put him in there. Travis says, I was looking forward to paint driving. Watching paint dry, as it'll be better than Borderlands. September 9th? No, it's August 9th. Oh, you're saying Beetlejuice comes out September 9th. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, no, it's August 9th for Borderlands. It's struggling to sell tickets. DMX says, I still think Borderlands should have been straight to streaming. All right, just so we'll mark this, right? I'm gonna go to Box Office Mojo real fast. We're gonna type in the Marvels. Okay, because that is one of the worst bombs in the history of. Okay, this made a whopping $206 million worldwide. It only made 84 million domestically. Like this was bad, people. Okay. 84.5 million domestically, 121.6 million internationally, for a grand total of 206.1 million. So chat, let's see if we can do a poll real fast. I want to see. Just to put it in perspective, opening weekend domestically, in the first weekend it made 45 million in the first weekend. So, okay, does Borderlands make more or less money than Marvel's opening weekend? Okay, doing a poll. Does Borderlands make more or less money than the Marvel's opening weekend? Yes or no? I guess. Hold on. Let me redo it. That doesn't fucking make sense. Let me redo it. Let me redo it. Not yes or no. Jesus, for fucking sake. All right, there you go. All right. Does Borderlands make more or less than the Marvel's opening weekend? Yeah, less than. It's got to make less than 46 million opening weekend. Less than 46 million opening weekend. Opening was 46.1. Does it make more or less than 46.1 opening weekend? No, it's back up there. It's back up there, Water. Come on, feed. Then they wait until the worst Borderlands game comes out. 3, story-wise. Oh yeah, it was. You know why they made it? They said that the reason they made this movie was based on the Telltale game. That's what made them make this movie. Here, let me look out. Let me see. Let's go. Let's see. Go to Fandango. Go to my local theater here and see where I'm going to pick a theater that's this would do very well at. Okay, this would do very well at. We're doing Friday. Actually, we'll do Thursday night. Thursday night. Okay. Let me see. Thursday night, 6:15 p.m. That's a small theater, and there's nobody in it yet. This is Universal City Walk. Okay, this is one of their theaters. That's a small theater, and no one's in it yet. Okay, hold on a second. Let me get you another one. They usually have it in the biggest theater. They have a really big theater there. Holy Christ. Let me go to the 820 show. There's 2 people. 820 show, bigger theater, and that's not the biggest theater. There's only 2 seats so far. I don't even think they're showing it in the bigger theater. Hold on a second. All right, this is a much better theater, size-wise. This is the Cinemark Orlando, which is a big theater, right? And there's four seats right now. 4 seats right now for Thursday night for the opening of this movie. JBZ, are you in Orlando area? Here, let's go to IMAX. IMAX. Okay. Opening day. Hey, IMAX. There's 7 seats. 7 seats. Check Disney. Yeah, the AMC at Disney Springs. Let me see. Now that is a big theater. Okay, so let me see. Disney Springs, 7 p.m. 7 p.m. If you guys don't know what Disney Springs is, there's literally thousands of people walking around. Hey, this is a good sign. This is a good sign, right? There you go. 7 p.m. at Disney Springs. That's a full theater. That's a full theater. Congratulations. They got one. They got one, and it's a small theater. Anybody want to change their vote? Anybody want to change their vote? Their vote on it? Like nobody's watched. I went to 5-6 theaters. Right? I tried to show you some of the bigger ones. Nobody's watching it. All right, so let me see what you guys right now. 22% of you say more, and 78% of you say less. Now, there's almost 40 of you watching or listening, and only 18 of you voted. Come on, we're not taking verification of your driver's license to see if you can vote. I don't even care if you're an illegal immigrant. Just vote for the poll. Yeah, Deadpool. They will make more money this weekend than Borderlands in their third weekend. Deadpool will make more money this weekend than Borderlands this weekend. Argus like, I already voted, okay? Then don't worry about it. I wasn't talking to you. Dude, I can't believe I didn't know the Marvels only made $206 million total. Total. Well, I've been here for I've been up in this area for 23 years. I don't listen to radio. I get in the car, I have my phone hooked up, I'm listening to Spotify or I'm listening to YouTube. I don't listen to anything. There's more commercials than actual music. I think all Borderlands players should boycott the hell out of this movie. Yeah, I'm not watching it. I'm not watching it for lots of different reasons. Altern says, I will be a little spicy today and say that it does more than the Marvels just because Borderlands is a famous IP. I don't know. Okay, hold on a second. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. Borderlands, do they have a breakdown of each thing? No, they don't. We can kind of go along the lines. Okay. So What did they make? As of November of 2022, more than 77 million copies of Borderlands games have been shipped, with 26 million from Borderlands 2. An additional 5 million copies from Borderlands 3 were sold within 5 days of release, bringing the total series net revenue to $1 billion. So, okay. So we have 77 million copies total. Okay. Now, 77 million copies total, but there's Borderlands, Borderlands 2, Borderlands Legends, Borderlands 2, Tiny Tina's Assault Dungeon Keep, Borderlands the prequel, Tales of the Borderlands, Borderlands the Handsome Collection, Borderlands 3, Borderlands Legendary Collection, Tiny Tina's Wonderland, and New Tales from the Borderlands. So we got 11 games. 11 games. So if you just... Obviously, it doesn't work this way because 26 million copies were sold for Borderlands 2. But that's an average of 7 million copies per game. 7 million copies per game. Aldete says, I wouldn't watch it if they paid me for the flight and I got to hang out with Jack Black for the day. What about a plushie? What about if they threw in a plushie? Sarge says, but I want a fun, drunk movie. Shouldn't Borderlands be that movie? Sarge, I'm gonna put it to you this way. If you support this movie, you support Broken Buggy Games. This is like pre-ordering. This is like pre-ordering a video game if you go watch this movie. Eclipse says it's a famous IP between gamers, and none of the gamers want to watch it. True. Is it PG-13 or rated R? I don't know. Oh, let me see. PG-13. PG-13. They says they could throw in $500,000 and I still wouldn't watch it. What? I think you would. I think you would. I think if they threw in $500,000, you would watch it. You would sleep, but you would go to the theater. That's right, El Dente. If you support this movie, you support pre-ordering games. That's right. Travis says, at least Broken Buggy Games can still be fun. This movie can't be. It's 28%. There's 28% of the people that think it'll be more. We'll see. We'll see. Sarge says PG-13, so they say fuck once. This stream is now PG-13. PG-13 is going to get destroyed. 5 million box office opening weekend. You think 5 million? Total. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 5 million. On Monday, we'll talk about it. On Monday, we're going to talk about it. Altern says, I mean, we know people complaining and the internet sometimes are the minority, but who knows? Maybe it does well. I'm not seeing any advertisement for it, though. But then again, I don't really watch a lot of commercials, so maybe they're not pushing it to me. I just think it's very strange that I'm on Twitter right now, right? And I'm seeing people, I see people doing cosplay for their channels, but they're hashtagging, right? And it's like 1 or 2 people. The actual marketing, I haven't seen. This. We're going to have to talk about this on Thursday night. Disney Plus and companies, other streaming services are no longer losing money. Well, that's because they're charging $20. That's because they're charging $20. Jay Breezy says, 1 review. Oh, hey, I can tell you I've seen Borderlands now, and that it's really bad. I really wanted to like it, but plus several phoned-in performances and being in a weird. That's nice, right? A weird place that looks both expensive and cheap at the same time makes it a huge misfire. That is amazing. That is amazing. I got an ad about it on TikTok. I just went to not interested. I don't like the content creator. Travis says, here's a review. Movie is terrible, no action, 0 language, sex for no reason, and bad acting. 7 out of 10. It actually sounds like an IGN review, Travis. It's being advertised online quite a bit and on network television. I don't see ads on YouTube, so again, I don't see that. All right. I think that'll do it for us this morning. Covered a couple stories. We'll be back tonight. Sarge, are we playing Shooting the Shit tonight? Or am I playing some more Marvel's Midnight Sun? Network television. What kind of peasant still has that? We haven't had cable in 2 years. I cut the cable 2 years ago. Every time my dad comes and visits, he's like, do you have this channel? I'm like, we have streaming services, but can I watch this? He's completely confused. He's like, so how do you watch this? I'm like, you just turn that on. We just don't have cable. Well, do you get this? Can I watch this? Yes. Yes, you can. Oh, yeah, I got addicted to Midnight Suns. I'm having a blast. I can't get into Descendant. It reminds me of Destiny. What else do you have in the lineup? I mean, we can go play. We can go play Battlefront. We can go play Starship Troopers. You have that still, right? We can go back into Starship Troopers. El Dente says, you think Travis would like this movie since he hates everything we love? You're absolutely right. I am that guy. I love Borderlands 1 and 2. Okay? But I am not bringing my son or my wife to go watch that film. Helldivers 2 just had its update. We could do Helldivers. Sarge, Sarge doesn't have Helldivers. Sarge doesn't have Helldivers. I don't think. Sarge, did you play Helldivers? I don't remember if you got Helldivers or not. I'm going to happy hour. I'll be on in the right frame of mind, and then maybe a Starship Troopers. All right, well, let me know. Jay Breezy says, you know what Borderlands reminds me of? The Monster Hunter movie. It does, Jay Breezy. I think you're 100% right. Yes. Yes, let's take a look. Let's go to Box Office Mojo again. Let's go to Box Office Mojo again. Monster Hunter came out in 2020. Okay, nobody look at it. Nobody look at it. How much? How much do you think it made opening weekend? Nobody look. I'm going to end the poll. All right. How much do you think it made opening weekend? Travis says 1 million. Good guess, Travis. It's a good guess. All turns says 5 million. Good guess as well. Al Dente says 50 million. He thinks it was really that good. Eclipse says 7 million. Sarge says there was a Monster Hunter movie. Yes, there was. The actual retail price of Monster Hunter's opening weekend is $2.2 million. 2.2 million with a grand total of 42 million worldwide. Oof. That hurts. I mean, to be fair though, it wide released in only 1,800 theaters, where the Marvels did 4,000, and Borderlands is going into 4,000 theaters as well. I think Jay Breezy's right. I think it's going to be like Monster Hunter. I think it will make more than Monster Hunter, though, Jay Breezy. I think it makes more than Monster Hunter. But not as much as the Marvels. That's a bowling ball in the ass painful. Check Assassin's Creed. $2016. I think it does around the same. Domestic opening was 10 million. 10 million. Okay, I think it does around the same, about 10 million, right? This weekend. And I think worldwide it'll be less than what the Marvels made. So 180 mil. I don't think it's going to do good at all. Deadpool will beat it this weekend. Yeah, it made more money. But at the same time, I want to see what the budget was. Hold on. Ooh, Assassin's Creed's budget was 125 million. So it lost money. It didn't make money back. That's a flop. That's a flop. That is a flop. Assassin's Creed did not make money. At least in theaters. I don't know if it made anything. Okay. And then Monster Hunter. Monster Hunters was $60 million budget. Okay, $60 million budget. So it had to make at least $300 million back. So that is also a massive flop. Oh, man. That is a massive flop. Well, this is what you have to look forward to, Borderlands. Video game movies, not doing so hot in the last couple times they've come out. I guarantee you that Borderlands budget, they haven't said their full budget. Because that has been delayed multiple times. Multiple times that was been delayed. And they had massive... Because I have actually a friend that works in the business still. And he's got his thumb to the... You know, he's got his ear to the train tracks, I should say. And there was major issues with Borderlands. So... There's going to be massive problems. That $100 million budget, I don't believe. I guarantee you it's around more of 160 to 170 mil. The Mario Brothers movie, you're talking about the original one with John Leguizamo? Or are you talking about the animated one? The animated one made a shit ton of money. I wonder what the Prince of Persia movie talking about with Jake Gyllenhaal. Well, the budget of that, oh my God, what? The budget was 185 million? Oh yeah, there's no way in fucking hell that movie made money. There's no way in hell. No, that was a flop as well. Budget here says 200 million. Budget here says 200 million, and it made worldwide 336. Flop. Didn't make money. Didn't make money. Oh yeah, the Mario animated one made over $1 billion. It was like 1.3, 1.4, something like that. Yeah, and it also only cost like $50 million to make the animation. Sonic 2 made money. Sonic 2 and Sonic 1 made money. Very popular. Sonic 2 made 405 million. And it costs somewhere between 90 and 110 mil. So if you, rule of thumb, added an additional double, 2.5 times basically. So it needed to make $300 million, $325 million. It made a lot of money. It can't be worse than Max Payne. I think the worst movie. Let me see. Doom, the movie, with The Rock back in 2005, was $65 million budget. And it made $58 million worldwide. Video game movies do not do well. Video game movies do not do well. There's not one that we've looked up besides the Mario movie because it's animated. We're talking about live action here. None of them have made money. I told you how it works, Sarge. I told you how the movie industry works. They could also sell these movies to streaming platforms. Sure. But they're not making their money back. The streaming era is different than people going out and buying DVDs, right? They used to subsidize the films if they were close to making money in the theaters, they would then make their money back with DVDs. okay, because people were buying and owning. That's not happening with digital. Less and less people are buying and owning movies. They'll rent it, but if they rent it, okay, if it costs me $20, $25 to buy, but it only costs me $5 to $7 to rent, then you need to rent that 4 to 5 times, okay, to make up for one sale. Yeah, the difference though with Netflix though, okay, Netflix is not renting. You're doing a subscription model. So Netflix paid a boatload of cash to get a famous movie that made a boatload of cash, okay, inside of theaters to get it onto their platform. That's different than buying and renting. So why do we keep making video game movies if none of them are making a profit? Because it's worth the risk. Because again, 10 films made from a production company, 7 will lose money, 3 will make money, 1 will make a shit ton of money. Gran Turismo didn't do as well as you think it did, and it was a great movie, by the way. We watched it. Very good movie. Okay. Gran Turismo made 122 million. Okay. 120. Are you there? You there? There we go. 122 million. 122 million. Okay. But let's go look at the budget. $60 million. So they either just broke even, or just didn't make it. Right? 122 million, but it cost 60 million to budget. So with the advertisement and whatnot, let's say they spent 80 million. So they're at 130. Yeah, that's a Gran Turismo movie. Was a racing movie with the name that doesn't count. No, it is. It's based on the actual version of. Right? It's a true story. It's a true story. It's not based on the game. It's a movie based on the game that was out, that was with the character with a guy that literally became a professional racer because of the game. It's a video game movie. Regardless, it still lost money. What is that for? Blood Rain film? Budget 25 million, box office 3.7. Yeah. Doubling the budget is a win. Marketing is in the budget. No, it's not. No, it is not. The $60 million is for the film, not the marketing budget. That is 1,000% false. That is 1,000% false, realist. So you think the budget of a movie that says 50 million or 100 million, you think the budget of the advertisements in that? Man, I hate to. You were mistaken. The marketing after the budget is double that, if not 1.5 times that. How can you say it isn't? I worked in the film industry for 20 years. That's how I can say it is. But you believe what you want. What do I know? If there's something that I know more about than video games, is the film industry. What am I looking at to get those numbers? The marketing. I've worked on hundreds of films. I know what the budgets of the films are, and I know what they use for the budget after for marketing. The budget has nothing to do. Most of the time, the production studio puts the money up. Then the publisher pays for the marketing. Hence why the publisher takes the money up front. Right? The studio itself gives them the money for the film. Then the studio also puts up the marketing for that. Hence why the first people that get their money back is the studio. And the actors get paid up front. The crew members get paid up front. I'm just pulling it out of my ass. That's what I'm doing. I'm not debating if you're right. I've learned something. I know that all movies can't have double the cost marketing budget, though. But they do. Filmmaking is a very... As gamers and developers always say, well, gaming is very hard to make. Games are hard to make. Working in the video game industry is hard to make. The movie industry is just as hard. To get 10 people, 100 people, thousands of people to work together to make a film, okay, is very hard to do. It's even harder to actually get financing for these films, and movie making is very, very, very hard to make money in, okay? Hence why independent developers and independent studios, independent people that make films, don't make money. They lose money. They lose thousands and tens of thousands, and that's just making the film. If I wanted to make a single picture myself, okay, to make a picture, let's say it would cost $10,000 to make my independent film. That's just to make the film. Now, how do I get people to watch that? Well, now I have to market that film, okay? Now I have to put more into budget. And when you're budgeting for marketing, you have to put 2 times the amount, minimum, for independent stuff to get your stuff out there for people to see. And you'll never make that money back. You'll never make that money back as an independent studio, I want to make my student film. Okay, that's the old days. The new days, now there's other ways to subsidize the cost, right? If I want to put my thing on YouTube, I make a short film, put it on YouTube, ad revenue comes in, I make that. Maybe I can get a subscription people where they purchase me. There's Indiegogo, there's Kickstarter, there's all these other things to do to help subsidize the cost that they'll never make back, okay? Studios spends hundreds of millions of dollars to market the thing. Hence, we just did an article talking about Star Wars Outlaws, the video game, okay? They've spent more on this marketing than the actual budget of the game, okay? That's how it is for video games. That's how it is for entertainment. That's how it is for movies. I'm guesstimating because I don't work for the specific company, right? So I'm taking the mathematical equation of what I've known in the past. If a movie costs $100 million, they're spending an additional $100 to $125 million in marketing. I've heard formulas before, but I see people saying that commercial success when the gross meets the post budget. If a movie costs $100 million, it's got to make after the production takes, after the theaters take their cost, after everyone takes their money, they have to make at least 3 times to 4 times the amount of whatever the budget was after they take all their money. So if it's $100 million, they have to make at least 325, 350 to 400 million, depending. Different states, different countries, not states, different countries take a different percentage of the movies in different territories. It's not just as simple as, well, they made $1 billion, so they made $1 billion of profit. That's not how it works. China takes a different percentage than the UK. Australia takes a different percentage than New Zealand. Okay, than the United States. Each theater takes their cut. The production company takes their cut. The studio takes their cut. Everybody takes their cut. Papa says, so what you're saying is that Ubi is going to say that Outlaws is a quintuplet A game? Yeah, it's the first 5A game. Television shows lose money. The only way they make money is that they have to have a popular show, and then they charge the ad revenue for the commercials that run during that time frame, or if a studio pays up front for their actual production, right? And that's why. So if you make a reality show and then you pitch it to like ABC, NBC, CBS, whatever, Fox, HBO, and they pick it up, they give you the money up front, okay? And then they take the money on the back end and they make money off of the ads. So the more popular the show, the more ads they can run. The more ads they can run, the higher price they can charge for those ads. Correct. You have a shitty show, you're making less money than like Friends. And when you hit syndication, that's big time. Right? When you can get your show, your television show in syndication, and it just runs and runs and runs and runs, right? That prints money for them. Because it's already made its money, and then once it goes to syndication, they're just printing money at that point. Well, if Skull and Bones is a quadruple A, then Outlaws is a 5A for sure. Didn't they say they're making... What was it? Was it Microsoft? They say they were making their first 4A studio, right? Even though Ubisoft came out and said that they made a 4A game. Didn't Microsoft say they're making a 4A studio? I feel bad for Skull and Bones. They took forever to put it out, and it's not good. Well, I've warned people. Because it took so long. Because it took so long. They rebooted that game 5 times and delayed it 7. Not very good. When you build something, tear it down, build it up, tear it down, build it up, tear it down. Yeah, that's never a good sign. Because then the game wasn't worked on for 10 years. Technically, it was only worked on for like 3. You can't make a quadruple A studio and then have a double A console. You don't even have to have a console anymore, Sarge. All right. It's 1 o'clock. We went over a little bit. I appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with us as we do this. We just have conversations. Excuse me. Have conversations. Go over gaming news, entertainment news. I get you past a couple hours of the day. You guys get me through a couple hours of the day. I appreciate it very much. We'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, to either play STS with Sarge, which is called Shooting the Shit with Sarge. Tonight, we'll be playing something. We might play Starship Troopers. We might play something else. If we don't play with Sarge tonight, then I'll be playing more of Marvel's Midnight Suns. Either way, we'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, for some gameplay. And then if you missed this, you can watch the past broadcast, or you can see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for more gaming news for each and every single week. Appreciate it very much. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.